Hello everyone, this is Turki Hakami, 6th year medical student from Yazan University Faculty of Medicine. I'm going to talk antibiotic resistance in this topic. Let's start with the content of this PowerPoint view. We have the introduction, definition, mechanism of action of antibiotics, mechanism of antibiotic resistance, prevention and control of antibiotic resistance, and the conclusion. Antibiotic resistance happens when germs like bacteria and fungi develop the ability to defeat those drugs designed to kill them. That means the germs are not anymore killed by these antibiotics. Infection caused by those germs or bacteria are difficult to be treated and sometimes impossible to treat. In most cases, those antibiotic-resistant infections require extended hospital stay, additional follow-up, doctor visits, and costly and toxic alternatives. So, antibiotic resistance really does not mean the body is becoming resistant to antibiotics, but the fact is the bacteria have become resistant to those antibiotics designed to kill them. So, antibiotic resistance actually threatens everyone. Let's start with definition. Antibiotics, also known as antimicrobial drugs, are drugs that fight infections caused by bacteria. What are the sources of antibiotics? We have natural sources, semi-synthetic sources, and synthetic sources. Natural mainly from fungi, like benzalpenicillin and gentamicin. Semi-synthetic, chemically altered natural compounds, like ampicillin and amikacin. Synthetic, or chemically designed in the lab, example mofloxacin and rofloxacin. What are the mechanisms of action of antibiotics? The basic mechanism against bacteria are the following. First, disruption of the bacterial cell wall. Second is inhibition of bacterial protein synthesis. Third is inhibition of bacterial nucleic acid synthesis. Fourth is antimetabolite activity. Then, what are the causes of antibiotic resistance? Causes of antibiotic resistance are many and multiple, but here's 6 causes which are most common causes. First is overprescribing of antibiotics. Second is patient not finishing the treatment course. Third one is overuse of antibiotics in livestock and fish farming. Poor infection control in hospital and clinics. Fifth is lack of hygiene and poor sanitation. Sixth is lack of new antibiotics being developed. How does those bacteria develop antibiotic resistance? How do they do it? Actually, bacteria may demonstrate any of 5 general mechanisms of antibiotic resistance. First one is lack of entry of antibiotic. In other words, it decreases the bacterial cell wall permeability, and therefore no antibiotic is able to enter the cell of the bacteria. Second one is greater exit, active efflux of antibiotics. More antibiotics is leaving the cell of the bacteria. Enzymatic inactivation of the antibiotic, or alteration of the target or modification of antibiotic receptor site. Fifth one is synthesis of a resistant metabolic pathway. How to prevent and control this antibiotic resistance? Antibiotic resistance is actually accelerated by the misuse and overuse of antibiotic, as well as poor infection prevention and control. Steps can be taken at all levels of society to reduce the impact and limit the spread of resistance, starting from individuals through health professionals, policymakers, and healthcare industries, all are responsible for prevention and control of antibiotic resistance. For example, how could antibiotic resistance be prevented at the level of individual? The individual should know that the antibiotic is not the first line of defense, not the first, it may be the last one. And most common infection will get better by themselves. They don't need 2 antibiotics. And you have to only take the antibiotics prescribed by a doctor, and you have to finish the course. Do not use other people or leftover antibiotics. As conclusion, antimicrobial or antibiotic resistance is an emerging global threat. Strategy to prevent the development of antimicrobial resistance should be advised. Judicious use of antimicrobial agents by healthcare professionals and general population should be implicated. Preventing and judicious use of antibiotics in animal husbandry and farming practices is a must. Avoiding of incorporation of antibiotics in commercial cleansing products is important. And last things, proper pharmacological waste management will be helpful. And that's all. Thank you for listening.